We're joined now by CBS News chief White House correspondent, Major Garrett, who's on the campaign trail following Republicans, and CBS News congressional correspondent, Nancy Cordes, is covering the Democrats. They are both in Des Moines this morning. Nancy, I want to start with you. Hillary Clinton has been working hard in Iowa for a very long time in this election. How's that going to pay off for her at the end?
I think what it means, John, is that her campaign knows exactly who they need to get to the caucuses and how many people they need to get to the caucuses. They have been working on this not just for the past year, but really for the past 8 years, if you think about it. They've got all the knowledge from the Clinton campaign back in 2008, the Obama campaign back in 2008, which was victorious here. All of those people, all of those Whiz kids are now working on her campaign here in Iowa. And I think beyond that, when we talk about the fact that Bernie Sanders has a lot of enthusiasm at his rallies, a lot of people at his rallies, period, if it seems like there's less enthusiasm here for Hillary Clinton, I think it's in part because people have known for such a long time that she was running. They know her about as well as any Iowan can know a candidate. So they made up their mind about her one way or the other a long time ago. A lot of her supporters have told us here in Iowa, yeah, I like Hillary Clinton. I'm going to vote for her. I don't need to go to one of her events because I already know what she's about. And I heard her 3 times the last time she ran.
That makes Bernie Sanders the new kid on the block then in Iowa. If that's the case and Bernie Sanders does well on Monday, why will he have done well?
He will have done well because there have been a surge of young voters who fulfilled their promise to get out and caucus, who beat the statistical odds and came out in larger numbers than they typically do. He has been saying for several days, like a broken record, I will only win if turnout is larger than normal. There's a very specific reason that he is saying that. He is saying to his supporters, look, it's not enough to love my message. It's not enough to come to my rallies. You actually have to go to the caucuses, and that's kind of a heavy lift, especially for young people. It's not like going to vote in a primary. You go there for 2 hours, you talk to your neighbors, and so it really requires a great deal of devotion and an understanding of how the system works. And so his campaign is trying to educate young voters. They've been putting out videos online. They're offering to drive them from their college towns back to their hometowns to caucus. The question is, how many of these young people will take them up on the offer?
All right, on the question of turnout, Major Garrett, let's go to the Republicans now. The guy who's at the top of the polls is Donald Trump. But in terms of turnout, is he going to be able to convert that enthusiasm from those huge rallies into actual caucus participation?
You know, John, the central question for the Trump campaign is, can you win an Iowa caucus by making politics, for lack of a better word, fun? There is a showmanship-like quality to the Trump rallies. The crowds form long before the event. People wait patiently. These are people who are not typically involved in politics. They come to see Trump. They laugh at all of his jokes. And afterward, the rope line is absolutely rapturous. In Clinton, Iowa last night, I saw a man, big, burly, huge biceps like a bodybuilder with a bandana on his head. He got an autograph from Trump. He walked away almost in tears. That's the kind of reaction that Trump elicits. So that's all great for Trump on the theatrical side of politics, but this is a ground game operation in Iowa. I have met people who tell me that they are either precinct captains or making phone calls for Trump, but they acknowledge they've never done it before. They haven't made as many phone calls as the campaign would like. So the bottom line question is, does all of this energy translate to caucus attendance? The Trump people believe in the end it will, and it will come not just from Republicans, but from some Democrats who have been drawn to the Trump message.
What about Ted Cruz then? He's in that neck-and-neck race with Trump. Tell me about his organization.
All right, so Trump is fun. Ted Cruz, fundamentals. And what do I mean by fundamentals? Identifying, and I mean really identifying at the granular level, Tea Party enthusiasts, social conservatives, evangelicals. Who are they? The most reliable voters in Iowa Republican caucuses over history. The Cruz campaign has spent months identifying these voters, sending them not just 1 or 2 mailers or different kinds of communications, but sometimes 3 or 4 in the same day, all about issues they care about. Cruz events are much quieter. There's much greater conversation about the crisis of conservatism and how you need someone who is a true believer, who has walked with you, who has all the convictions you share, because that, they believe, is what will get these most reliable voters to all the caucus sites all around the state, 99 counties, more than 1,600 precincts. And they believe by taking care of Mike Huckabee, Rick Santorum, and Rand Paul, all competitors for these voters, they're well positioned to pull a surprise over Trump come Monday night.
Nancy, among the Democrats, you've been out there a while following them. Give us a little flavor for what's different about a Hillary Clinton event and a Bernie Sanders event.
You know, it's interesting, John. Iowa has always been a retail politics place, as you know. Voters want to get to know their candidates. They want to shake their hand, look them in the eye, talk to them. Bernie Sanders is not a retail kind of guy. He gets up there, he gives his speeches. The audience is moved. They love listening to him. He's clearly very passionate. They find him very authentic. But then he exits stage left. He's not the type to stick around and glad hand and take a selfie. But they don't really seem to mind. In fact, I've been at some of his rallies where they literally sort of part and allow him to walk past and exit. It's as if they know that, you know, he's there to sort of talk about these issues they've been waiting to hear about for a long time. But he's not really, you know, a one-on-one type of guy. Hillary Clinton, the exact opposite. Her events may be smaller, they may be a little less raucous, but she sticks around for sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes on the rope line, shaking hands, talking to people about their problems, offering to take selfies with them, and asking them point blank, I really need you to come out and caucus. And that is an area where she seems to be far more comfortable, and yet, even though they have these very, very different styles, they are neck and neck in the polls.
Major, finally to you, the third place finish may matter a lot in Iowa. It looks like Rubio is going to finish there?
That's what it looks like, and the Rubio camp feels very good about that. And it's sort of an interesting question. When does third place equal first? Well, when the first place finisher is third place and represents either mainstream Republicans or so-called establishment Republicans. That's where Rubio wants to land. The most recent poll has him at 15%. That's consistent with internal Rubio campaign data. They believe they can get to 17, 18% here. Their crowds in the closing days have been getting larger and larger, a lot of enthusiasm on the ground. And for Rubio's campaign, it's all about the distance between everyone else vying to be that establishment or mainstream alternative. A lot of distance between Chris Christie, John Kasich, Jeb Bush here, because they believe that will translate to momentum in New Hampshire, where the Rubio camp hopes to vanquish all of those and emerge by South Carolina as the central alternative to either Ted Cruz or Donald Trump.
All right, Major Garrett, Nancy Cordes out there on the campaign trail. Thanks to both of you.